Here. Trustee Griffin,
Present.
trustee Zuniga,
Present.
trustee Land,
Present.
trustee Dwyer, and I am here. So I think we are ready to proceed. If I could ask the superintendent to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go to sleep. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm turning my voice recognition off.
Thank you. We have this evening our Spanish interpreter with us for the meeting, Enrique Montaldo. For those who would like to attend the meeting virtually in Spanish, that option's available. Enrique, would you please communicate that for us this evening?
Tenemos a nuestro intérprete de español para la reunión de esta noche. Para aquellos de ustedes que quieran asistir a la reunión en español, esta opción está disponible. Gracias.
Thank you. If you wish to view closed captions of this meeting, please view the meeting on the San Mateo Union High School District Board Meeting YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel can be found on our website. You can view the captions in English as we live stream our meeting tonight. And you can view the captions in a variety of other languages if you choose to watch after this meeting is ended. Viewers may also request additional accommodations by calling 650-558-2201. For our deaf and hard of hearing community, we have a team from Hannah Interpreting Services, and they will be interpreting our meeting this evening. We would like to ask everyone to speak at a clear and reasonable pace for our interpreters. For closed session, we took several actions in closed session. The board, upon the motion of trustee Land and seconded by trustee Lees Dwyer, moved to approve 3 special education settlements with a vote of 5-0. We also, upon a motion of trustee Land and seconded by trustee Lees Dwyer, moved to approve the stipulated expulsion with a vote of 5-0. In closed session, under anticipated litigation, the board unanimously approved a First Amendment to a tolling agreement with the city of San Bruno in relation to the Crestmore property. And that was approved 5-0. I think we wanted to change one order on the agenda and move item 7 up before agenda item 9. If there's no objection to doing that this evening, I think that would make it flow a little bit better, just so that we just clearly introduce that item before we have the public hearing.
You're talking about Division of Human Resources?
Yes,
Okay, you didn't. No.
under human resources. We move the presentation of the California School Employees Association contract proposal and just present number 9 before we do number 7. Okay,
Do we need a motion or just kind of consent?
I think there's just consensus
Yep.
that we can just do it that way. Okay.
Just a motion, just to make sure that we're covered. I move that we make the change on the agenda for Peter's recommendation.
Second,
Okay. Trustee Griffin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Zuniga,
Yes.
trustee Land,
yes.
trustee Dwyer? And I vote yes.
Red might have to be on.
Yes.
Okay, yes. I have
I'm
it
not
now.
able to hear that person speaking. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Oh, can you hear me now?
That's better. Thank you.
Yeah, my apologies. I thought that I didn't have my red button on.
You know, from a point of procedure, you know, there are some boards that actually approve but before they actually start the meet, you know, at
That's
the,
true. That
but-
is true. But I think we're okay now.
yeah, no, I don't, I'm just saying, you know, as an observation.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we actually used to do that. Okay,
Okay.
Good.
So this is a public meeting of the San Mateo Union High School District Board of Trustees. So if you are joining us in person and wish to make a comment about an agenda item or during the public comment section at the beginning of the agenda, please fill out a request to address the board form and submit it to the secretary. This form should be given to the secretary before the agenda item begins. If you're joining us virtually, use the raised hand feature on Zoom to be recognized. When invited to do so by the board president for each item on which you wish to comment, you'll be admitted to speak as a panelist during your public comment period. The board president will call on you. Please note that comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public comment, depending upon the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. So right now we have public comments on non-agenda items. Do we see any public comments on non-agenda items this evening?
One quick moment as there is a small delay with Zoom, but I don't see anyone as of yet.
Okay. You see if this time, governing board comments. Are there any governing board comments this evening? Mr. Griffin?
I did go last week, I guess a week before the San Mateo to the back to school night and thoroughly enjoyed it, reliving my youth. And then I also walked the campus with President Hanley and Superintendent Booker and enjoyed that. I was surprised because I normally have a different way of doing it, but I'm learning every day.
Trustee Zuniga, did you have any? this
Yes,
evening?
I do. First, I wanted to acknowledge that the land that we're on, that we currently occupy, is of the Ramaytush Ohlone people, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula. I also wanted to see if we could do a brief moment of silence for Brianna Fernandez Diaz, who passed away recently. She was a student from San Mateo High School. And there's actually a GoFundMe going around and a fundraiser this weekend for her. And if staff, needs to debrief to utilize the EAP for students that might have a hard time with this, please access the wellness counselors and mental health services that there are. But if our board, could we do a quick moment of silence for her?
Yes, that would be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you. I just have a couple more things. First, I wanted to acknowledge, now that today is the kickoff of Latino, Latinx Heritage Month, I wanted to just speak real quick to intersectionality and all of the different intersections that we have in our culture, how beautiful and warm and just resourceful and strong and resilient our community is. Even though we do have our different Independence Days today, tomorrow, next week, throughout the year, we still are not completely free from colonization, exploitation, segregation, abuse, things like that. So what a call to action for people is to please research the history of our countries and of our different cultures and diversity. Also the different celebrations and things like that. But aside from that as well, support our community with supporting candidates that will elevate our community, support initiatives that elevate our community, support our
breaking up.
students. Oh, I'm sorry. Support our students that have, club events right now and different types of activities, small businesses. I think that is where it really, makes a difference in our community. Because it's great that we do proclamations and things like that, but we need to do something further with action. I also wanted to talk about mental health and the intersection between our community and mental health as well. This is Suicide Prevention and Recovery Month. And I'm not sure if everybody knows what happened, but back in the spring, my almost 17-year-old nephew died by suicide. And unfortunately, it was due to the lack of mental health services for him. There's some things that have gone in that I'm not going to get into, but this is a big problem in our young people's lives, especially right now. So I really, wanted to elevate different community-based organizations like One Life, Una Vida, that provide specific mental health services to our community, to the Latinx community. They just started a component serving specifically our community. But aside from that, just in general, right, all students. Also with the Voices of Recovery services, of recovery and addiction, it hits all of our families and all of our communities. So there's not one community it doesn't. And right now, Voices of Recovery have a lot of really great programs. So you could, hit up their website along with county health with different events going on for suicide prevention. But aside from that too, there's going to the Behavioral Health and Recovery Services Commission is having an event on September 26th from 7 to 8:30 online, talking about reimagining mental health emergency care in San Mateo County. And what we're really looking for is voices from our youth and voices from our families or community, because it's definitely, affecting everybody. But also with mental health, just making sure that we destigmatize suicide and mental health services. Not using things like terms like committed suicide, because it implies judgment and something like a sin or some sort of like negative thing, which it's not positive, but it's not punitive either. So I just wanted to make sure that that is addressed. But also, I guess lastly, I'm just barely recovering from COVID. I got it really, really bad. I've been really sick. I had a fever and a lot of congestion. It's been really hard to breathe. I ended up in the ER. So I really want to make sure that people are still masking and are still vaccinating, because we're not completely finished with this. And it's affecting people like myself that have really high needs physically and with our health, that it's really dangerous. Like I was like I was saying, I couldn't breathe, and it hit me really, really hard. So, especially for people like, I live in a small apartment and my family, we can't quarantine. It's expensive to send my partner out to a hotel every night. So it's very hard for a lot of families. So just lastly, too, ACLU is looking for youth volunteers.
We're not hearing you again.
Oh, thank you. The ACLU is looking for youth volunteers. Please go to their website. We have a whole youth component. I want to thank Superintendent Booker for addressing a letter coming from one of the LGBT community clubs and addressing LGBT services for youth. But I also wanted to thank Superintendent Booker for bringing on our new ASL interpreter. Yay! This is great, and thank you to our Spanish language interpreter and everything that they do. I also have office hours Saturday from 1 to 3. If anybody is interested, you can email me at landradezuniga@smuhsd.org. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Land.
Thank you. I appreciate, I'm glad Leahy is doing better. Trustee Lee, Zuniga Andrade is doing better.
Thank
So happy
you.
to see that. I'm glad also she recognized Suicide Prevention Month and our Hispanic Heritage Month. I think both are very important. My personal connection, and we talk about intersections as you're talking about. One of my associations with 16 de Septiembre is El Grito de Dolores. And I think it's one of the celebrations that need to be recognized. So I just want to acknowledge that for tomorrow. Just a couple of announcements, the things that I've done. I went to visit BHS. They were having an ELAC meeting for parents, and I got to go in, just walk into the room and just kind of said hi to a few people. They didn't know who I was, which is fine. I was really happy with that. And we talked a little bit, and then I took off. I also really want to thank Superintendent Booker and the committee and Laura Chalkley is also for summarizing for the board what we did. We had a student representatives meeting to talk about how we can improve what we think in representation and different ways we can really start eliciting more input from students. Alihia was part of it. I know she wasn't feeling well at the time, but it was a good meeting, and I really want to thank the superintendent and the committee for doing such a great job. Char too, I saw her there too. She was doing good note taking. One last announcement. I'm also president of the San Mateo School Boards Association this year. On October 17th, we're going to have CSBA's Executive Director, Vernon Billy. We're going to have a representative from the county as well to talk about how school boards can be supported by these organizations, give us an important update. We're getting back to in-person. I really want to invite all of you guys to sign up, including our superintendent. I already told Char to mark your calendar for that. It'll be at the San Mateo Community College in the alumni room that we used to do years ago, and back to the dinners. I still feel like you can get masked, but it will be a nice way to really reconnect. I think that was one of the most important things we got out of our retreat this summer. Also, if you haven't done it, I know Linda did it, but if you haven't done it yet, I really need you to do the membership survey for school boards and any other school board people who are listening in the audience, because I know there's probably one or two. If you haven't done the the membership survey, please do that. We're trying to get feedback for this year. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you.
Trustee Dwyer.
Okay, I put on my sound. Can you hear me, Ligia? I can't hear you. Oh dear. Okay.
Yes, I
Really
can hear
quickly.
you.
Good. Okay. Really quickly. I just want to give you a teeny bit more information on Brianna, because I want to make sure it's clear that she was a 2018 graduate of San Mateo High School, and that she was an avid student, and she came back and was a tutor at San Mateo. So even though she graduated in 2018, she was known on the campus to other students and other faculty. So I'm very sad about what happened, but I went to Peninsula High School for back to school night. I saw Superintendent Booker there. It was well attended. They did a meal for their people. And there was a lot of enthusiasm at the site. And I thought that was nice to see the students and the teachers engaging with parents. I went on to CAP right after that, and I spent a little time with the new principal, Gomez. I'm really excited. I think Mr. Boyce was an excellent principal, and I think Mr. Gomez is starting off as another excellent principal. So we're very fortunate. He's clearly an educational leader, and he was out among the parents and people, and he was very well known for being there such a short time, which I thought was quite nice too. He is a native of San Bruno, which I think is especially good. I met at that, he introduced me to Terry Chavez, who's going to take basically my seat after the election because of the way the district was redistricted. And I went to 2 classes with her because she has a student there, and got to go to the back to, hear the teachers do their presentations. And that was quite nice too. Lastly, I spent some time, I'm kind of on the campuses over the weekend because, I like to run around the track, and I was at San Mateo and Burlingame this last weekend. And I have to say, I am so impressed with how clean our campuses are and how hard the people work. The new garbage recycle facility, I don't know what you call them, facilities boxes, the things out there, I think they're making a difference because they make it really clear what goes where. And I think that's important. I think they encourage people that way to put things in the receptacles. And, I saw sports teams practicing and vendors out there with their students doing different sports. And it was really, the campuses are just clean and organized, and the people who use them on the weekends are well managed by our staff. So it's always nice to be out there and see that. Thank you.
Thank you. I went to Mills High School for back to school night, and it was also a very good turnout. And I got a great tour, both with Principal Duzinski, who took me around, showed me a lot of the construction that had been completed and that was going on still. But the transite paneling that was done looked great to me. Made a lot more progress than I actually thought that they were going to be able to make in the summertime. And I had 2 students that gave me a grand tour of just about everything that was going on at Mills, Kayla and Samuel. So I appreciated very much getting that extensive tour of an update of everything going on at Mills there. And I've been able to visit classes with the superintendent we were just at Hillsdale recently, and also at San Mateo and Burlingame. So I hope to do some more next week and tomorrow actually at CAP. So that's been very good. I have not been out to schools as much as I usually do with the COVID pandemic, but I'm very much welcome the opportunity to get back into that routine, and it's been very good to see how well we're getting back to very, very close to normal, which is most welcome. So moving on, no communications to the Board of Trustees tonight. We don't have any additional recognitions.
Do we have a school board member today? A student board member? No.
No. Moving to section K, consent agenda.
Turn your
I move approval. I read everything, including every contract.
second.
Okay. We have a motion from trustee Dwyer and a second from trustee Land. Trustee Griffin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Zuniga,
Yes.
trustee Land,
Yes.
trustee Dwyer.
Yes.
And I vote yes also. So consent agenda is approved 5-0. Going to regular reports. Report of the superintendent.
Thank you very much. I do have a few reports to give tonight, so bear with me. But the first thing I want to do is, the board offered some praise tonight for me and for a few things that have been going on across the district. But I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my team, because the things that you gave me praise about. Thank you so much, but it's really been a team effort. So I want to just take a moment, especially when we had a certain part of closed session, right? And then I went to go get the team and I went out the door and there they all were lined up. And I actually said it to them when they like, this is what an awesome team. I just had a lot of pride about this team kind
Yeah.
of walking toward the room for a closed session. It was really cool. So I just want to call out, big thanks, Kirk and Yancey and Julia, Dawn, Holly, Laura, Shar. And then we've got in the audience here, Vanessa and Valerie from Business Services. We got our unaudited actuals tonight. That's definitely a team. I've got Nicole and Simon and Lucy over here doing tech. So just, we have amazing people. And it's one of the big reasons, if not the big reasons, why we're such a successful district and why things, at least out in front of public, are well run. Behind the scenes, we scramble from time to time, but I'm just really proud of the team, grateful for the team. So thank you so much for everyone's work. Okay, I'm going to dive in. So as Trustee Zuniga brought up, we received a letter from San Mateo County Stonewall Democrats, and I'm going to read a little bit of this letter, and then I'll forward the letter. Actually, the board I think all received this letter as well. This is back in August. We write today to encourage you to take concrete steps to support and validate the LGBTQ+ students enrolled in your schools, they write. We are thankful for to your district for the work it has done to date to make your schools safe and welcoming environments for LGBTQ students. I'm going to pause there for a moment to acknowledge that we have in San Mateo Union High School District an LGBTQIA+ advisory committee. I'm going to share this letter with that committee so that they can continue their discussion, use it for their discussion and planning purposes as well. And they write here, at the same time, there's always more work that can be done. And we encourage your board to take steps outlined in this letter to the extent your district has not yet done so, and to actively engage with us on these issues so San Mateo County LGBTQ+ students can thrive. I'm not going to read the entire letter, but I'm going to read a few snippets here. And so these are they offered 7 points for us to consider. And these are the points I'm going to ask our advisory committee to take a look at and give some responses back to me. One is to agendize this topic for discussion at a future board meeting. That will happen. It's part of our equity administrative regulation where we are asked to come back to the and talk about LGBTQ+ initiatives. They write, fly the progress pride flag in June during Pride Month. I know that's something we've done in the past. We will continue to do. Number 3, offer or require SOGIE, and that stands for sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression training for school board members, administrators, and teachers, and we'll work toward that. Establish an OUT for Safe Schools program, and this is a national OUT campaign and encourages districts and school staff to publicly identify as supportive LGBTQ+ allies. Number 5, adopt the Gender Spectrum's gender support plan. I've in the past in my previous district, and I know in this district, we've worked with Gender Spectrum. They're a great organization. Number 6, analyze district curricula to ensure they are LGBTQ+ inclusive. Number 7, provide gender neutral restrooms in all school buildings. The letter is much more detailed. Like I said, I know the Board of Trustees have received this letter. I know they've seen it, and I'll be passing it along to our advisory committee for them to take a look at, provide some feedback that I can then share with the board and the community. Areas where we have a lot of successes and areas where we'll need to continue to grow. And that's okay too. And on that note, that's actually going to be something we talk about more so over this particular school year and into the future. We're going to highlight our successes, but we are also going to start talking publicly with regard to the areas where we see growth, where we need to see growth. And we're going to call those out, not to criticize ourselves or to get us down, but to be transparent and accountable in areas where we need to see ourselves grow. So I'm really grateful for the San Mateo County Stonewall Democratic Club for sending us that letter. And like I said, I'll pass it along to our advisory committee. My next announcement is just on Rosh Hashanah that's coming up. This year, the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah are observed by Jews from sundown on September 25th through the evening of September 27th. I want to take this time to acknowledge this important day in the Jewish calendar and its importance to the members of our community who observe it. Rosh Hashanah means, quote, the head of the year, end quote. It's a Jewish New Year, and it is a time of inner renewal and atonement. Students and staff observing this holiday may be absent on the days following nighttime celebrations, and we as a district will work to be supportive to the needs of these individuals. As Trustee Andrade Zuniga brought up, September 2022, this is Suicide Prevention Month. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for children, adolescents, and young adults ages 15 to 24. Suicide is preventable, and Suicide Prevention Month aims to empower everyone in the community to prevent suicide. It's a time to raise awareness of the stigmatized and often taboo topic. And as a district, we can use this month to educate about resources available. And we have, not only in this district, but across the county, a lot of resources. Here in San Mateo and the Peninsula, Star Vista's 24/7 crisis hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for crisis intervention. The number is 650-579-0350, or you can call or text 988. You can also text the word BAY to 741741. Trained crisis workers treat callers with empathy and compassion and provide referrals for community resources and services. To prevent suicide, it is important to know the signs which could include talking about, wanting to die, or making a plan or researching ways to die. It's important to be able to ask the question directly, are you thinking of ending your life? And finally, it's critical to know how to access the resources to help someone who is thinking of ending their life. We have resources posted prominently in our Know Your Resources campaign on our website, on the back of every student's ID card and in every classroom across the district. We're also unbelievably fortunate in our district to have 39 mental health therapists who can also help members of our school community find the right resources. And if you can't remember anything else I said about this topic tonight, remember, call or text 988 if you find yourself in crisis. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this, and we need to keep talking about it. And as Trustee Andrade Zuniga talked about, we need to make sure that this is a topic that we get rid of the stigmatization, we get rid of the taboos, and look to better support our students, colleagues, and families across the district. And then last but not least, tonight, September 15th, is the 120th anniversary of San Mateo High School. And it's the founding not only of San Mateo High School, but of our district as well. So we have a long and rich history. And so I want to take a few minutes to share some of the highlights and fun facts. On July 26, 1902, a petition was circulated by Miss Etta W. Tilton, then County Superintendent of Schools, to create a high school district. The petition was signed by a majority of families in the county and approved by voters, and our first district board of trustees was formed with representatives from Millbrae, San Mateo, and Laguna school districts. San Mateo was deemed to be the best location for a high school, and up until then, students could attend 1st through 10th grade at Central Grammar School in San Mateo. And if I have any of these facts and figures wrong, I know a lot of you have been here longer than I have, chime on in. So I need to slow down. Okay, I will slow down. Thank you. Students had to attend private school if they wanted to continue their education beyond 10th grade. San Mateo High School officially opened on September 15th, 1902 in Dixon Cottage, located at 54 North Ellsworth Street. There were 14 students and 3 faculty members that first semester. Mr. A.G. Van Gordon was the principal and teacher, and the school curriculum included foreign languages, art, history, science, and mathematics. After-school activities included Glee Club, basketball, and clubs for German, drama, and literary society. The students got to choose their school colors and song. Princeton University was the sports hero of the day, and the students decided to use Princeton's colors, orange and black, and used the music to the Princeton school song, adapting it with their own lyrics. The school was moved to the corner of Baldwin Avenue and San Mateo Drive from late 1902 to 1926, and that campus was eventually expanded as enrollment climbed. The first graduating class was in 1905, when 7 graduates were sent out into the world to make their way in the 20th century. In 1926, the district purchased 20 acres at Bellevue and Delaware Streets for the new San Mateo High School campus. The Delaware campus was completed in the fall of 1927, and it included a main building, an arts building, and a gym. The school had one of the most modern science departments of the time. The first Delaware campus graduation was in January of 1928, with 29 students, and another 498 graduated in June. Fast forward to 2022, And I'd like to invite our Board of Trustees and our community to our 120th anniversary celebration at San Mateo High School on October 8th. That's October 8th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to have a historical slideshow in the Performing Arts Center, tours of the campus, student performers, and more. And so please join me for this event so that we can celebrate our community. One last update. Sorry. It's COVID-19. So first, I want to thank Sarah Devaney, our health services manager. She's been remarkable in helping us manage COVID. To Trustee Andrade Zuniga's point, COVID is not beyond us at this point, and we need to stay on top. Public health leaders ended the weekly testing requirements for school workers. That was just announced on September 13th. And so we are no longer required weekly COVID-19 testing for unvaccinated and under-vaccinated workers in high-risk workplaces and schools. This has gotten a lot of publicity over the last couple of days. I'm just calling that out. It says here, our policies and practices remain in place and are directed by both California Department of Public Health and San Mateo County Health. Reporting requirements to the local health department has changed from reporting each case to only reporting cases that meet criteria of 5% or more of a group, a school, a team, a class, or work group. Case rates and exposure notifications remain consistent across sites, averaging about 40 new cases weekly. We are following group contact tracing methods and increasing testing for teams, groups, or schools based on need. We'll be sharing information about new bivalent boosters with staff and students as community clinics and appointments begin on September 21st. And we're partnering with CDPH and Color Labs to offer on-site bivalent vaccine clinics for staff and students currently scheduled for October 19th and November 30th. And I know that was a lot, but there's a lot going on in the district. So thank you very much.
Would it be possible to invite prior board members to the event on October 8th? Because I think they, I'm sure many of them played significant roles as the district grew.
I think it's a great idea. We can
Okay,
definitely do that.
yeah, hopefully, not the ones from 1902 probably aren't with us any longer,
Maybe
but
not.
there hopefully there's some others.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Our next is report of the District Teachers Association representative. They couldn't make it. Okay, report of the CSEA Chapter 519 representative.
Hello and good evening, President Hanley, Superintendent Booker, members of the board, and everyone here tonight. I'm Jim Brock, our CSEA chapter president. Happy National Hispanic Heritage Month to all our CSEA brothers and sisters. This last Tuesday, I was able to make a few site visits to meet our new classified staff members. I mainly met with instructional assistants, and my experience drove home just how much our classified staff are essential to the day-to-day operations of our schools. I was able to get a glimpse into the day as they worked in the classrooms, as well as during the students' brunch and lunch. Shout out to our adult transition class instructional assistants as well. They trek out into the community and help our students build essential life skills. You all have very difficult and important jobs that can sometimes go unnoticed, but we see you. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. Our contract negotiations proposal has been submitted for approval tonight. We look forward to working with the district team and to continue to build and update our contract language that is equitable for everyone. In addition, we value our monthly meetings with Dr. Black and Mr. Hawkins to discuss important issues and safety concerns that we hear about, and we hope to continue these conversations with collaborative agreements. We will continue to work with the district on how we may better retain these important positions, such as instructional assistants, bus drivers, and campus safety specialists. Thank you, and see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, thank you for your report. Next is a report of the San Mateo Adult School Teachers Association.
Good evening. Nice to see you again, all you board members. I'm Paula Ackerman, a teacher from the adult school. And our school opened its doors for a new semester that started on the 22nd of August. We had 3 different registration days and admitted over 600 students. Sadly, we had to turn away many people due to limited space in our school, as well as limited number of certificated teachers available at each of our schools. However, many of our teachers have decided to support our adult school mission and together with the administration created cohorts of classes that provided opportunity to reach more adults. These classes are held on Monday and Wednesday night, as well as 2 Tuesday and Thursdays for each of the cohorts. These classes, we believe, realize that this isn't the best approval to teaching as a comprehensive ELD course, but at least it provides access to more people in our community who desperately see opportunities to increase their language skills. As educators, we need to continue to analyze our practices in order to attract qualified teachers into our school. As a union, we are in the best disposition to support any endeavor that would assist our district in attracting more qualified teachers. Our CTE has seen a slow uptick with our enrollment as we move it in person and add it in-person labs with our hybrid programs, with banners, flyers, and the aid of social media. We now are in the process of launching 3 new programs. Still too early to tell what the enrollment will be as they start later in September. What we have noticed is that there is an increase of last-minute enrollment, such as dispensing optician started 2 weeks ago. We had to enroll the day of class to enroll the second day of class. Clinical, medical, we are strong at 18 students for GED. They began as a hybrid. However, more people showed up online. The class had 4 GED passes in math, language arts, and also in science. This semester has been great. This semester is all in person. The numbers started to work as of August 22nd, 2022. 5 more mornings in 6 and then 6 in PM. We have discovered that the hybrid class works best as a situation because it allows students never to miss a class. So if they can't see it one day, they can see it later and then be up to speed with the rest of the students. Thank you so much for letting me come and share the information we have. Have a best rest of the month and thank you so much.
Thank you for your report. So we'll move on to special reports and appearances. We have one item this evening, our unaudited actuals for 21-22.
It's been a little while before I've been at a podium, so I'm glad to be up here again. All right, thank you, Superintendent Booker, trustees. Tonight is the culmination of over 20 months of work that started in earnest in January of 2021 for the 2021-2022 budget. The unaudited actuals is the closing of our books for the year and turning the page from 2021-22 to 2022-23. Superintendent Booker noted in his thank yous. We have two people from the Business Services Department, Valerie Miller and Vanessa Castano, who do all the real work on this presentation. I get the pleasure of coming up and giving you this presentation, but it's a lot of work from that department, and I just wanted to thank them for all their hard work. In terms of agenda, we're going to go over the estimated and unaudited actuals. We'll look at our ending balances trends over the last 5 years, take a brief step and look at program carryover from year to year, and then focus on one-time COVID relief and other funding, and then end with some next steps. So this slide includes a comparison of the estimated actuals that we provided at the budget adoption in June to the unaudited actuals. Just a few things to note. We had a little bit of an increase of about 1% from the estimated actuals to unaudited actuals in unrestricted revenue. So that's a little bit of good news. On the restricted side, there was carryover, and that's really related to the COVID and other categorical funds that we've received over the last few years that are spent over a 3 to 5 year period. So that's on the restricted side. In terms of ending balance trends, the largest change from last year really is that restricted balance that I noted. We went from about $3.4 million to 5.7, and that's very specifically related to the COVID and other categorical funds at the state and federal level. We also have other deferred revenue funds of cash that we've received on COVID related funding, specifically the ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funding that actually hasn't even been included in here. So that's also COVID relief funds. In terms of program carryover, we have a little over $6 million in categorical programs and unrestricted carryover. Just a reminder, on the unrestricted side, really the only carryover that we include is at our school sites. So we allow our school sites to carry over unused funds from year to year. This number actually is down a little bit. It's down about 15% from last year as they're spending down a little bit of their carryover. So that's definitely a good sign as we have students back on campus. I think we were at a high last year as we allocated some funds, assuming in the 2021 year, potentially a full year on campus. And obviously we didn't have a full year on campus for that. In terms of categorical funds, we noted on the restricted side, we have some balances that will be used over the next 3 to 5 years. This will be one area that we need to be very careful around because we have FTE related to these positions and staff and programs. And so over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to have to look very closely at the effectiveness of these programs and determine next steps for those programs, including winding down of some of those programs and then potentially looking for other funding sources for those. The deferred revenue grants of 2.277, that primarily relates to that federal income that I talked about around ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. Those are the large federal Congress bills around COVID relief that the district received. The top half, you've seen a similar slide to this. The top half is funds that the board has seen before. We did Mr. Simmons did a really great presentation last year on the use of the one-time COVID relief funds. So the board has seen this. In terms of the bottom part, these are new grants that the board has not seen in this slide. They've seen it in other things, but you have the A to G grant and as well as the arts, music, instructional materials discretionary block grant and the learning recovery emergency block grant, which were included in this year's 22-23 adopted state budget. So you heard about the proposals for these in the May revise, but they were not included in the adopted budget in June because they had not been approved by the state.
could you expand on it? So I knew that, you know, the controversy where we were going to go with the arts one. What did they land on, and how did we, you know, could you describe that a little bit, or do you know?
Yeah, I believe the Ed Services Department is going to be bringing a fuller presentation on this. So I'm
Okay.
happy to note.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's okay.
they're going to be, I don't want to steal their thunder on that one. But I think the instructional materials is really going to be a big piece of that grant as we look at adoptions over the next 5 years, as well as arts, music. And there's also, it doesn't say it in there, but putting aside some money around potential needs for COVID. Hopefully not. Hopefully we won't need it, you know, but we're always wanting to be prepared. Next steps, monitoring the continued impact of COVID pandemic. You know, it's still here. You know, it's a little bit waning right now. So hopefully that continues, but we'll still have to watch that. Monitoring the spending of the one-time COVID relief grants. This is going to be a really important thing over the next few years. We've seen the largest influx of categorical and one-time funding in the state's history over the last 3 years, far outpacing the amount of money that we received in the 2008 Great Recession. So that's going to be really important for the staff and the board to monitor as we spend those funds and as we wind down those programs as they go away over the next 3 to 5 years. We'll obviously monitor our property tax. Obviously, that's our property taxes are our main form of revenue. We'll monitor enrollment and staffing related, as well as looking at special education funding, enrollment, and related costs. With that, I am happy to open it up to any questions.
Trustee Griffin.
I want to acknowledge the fact that you did give me a cartoon and I really enjoyed it. So
It was a Star Trek cartoon. So it's very exciting.
I'm so special on this board. I
Oh,
appreciate
you're in trouble.
Trustee
Anyway,
Griffin definitely
Star
gave me
Trek.
a hard time with no when
Humor.
I didn't include a comic last time. So I thought
Anyway, it was good work, I think, on your team's part and your part. I want to talk about carryovers. At least one of the questions has to do with the carryovers that we let them carry over to the next year. And is that a generally accepted budgeting practice, and why, you know, what are some of the reasons we have these, particularly the unrestricted program carryovers?
Yeah, so at the school sites, it's not not necessarily a gap principle in terms of from an accounting standpoint, but it has been our historical practice at the site levels. Now at the departmental levels, that is not allowed. So if the business department or the ed service department has unspent funds, those are swept to the bottom line for reallocation by the Board of Trustees. Over the years, the district has allowed the sites to carry over some of that funding. Some of that is for larger purchases. They may want to do, they might be kind of saving up for some larger furniture purchases, you know, or other, you know, IT related, you know, maybe a Mac lab or something like that. But that's been the district's history. And so.
I
That's
thought
what we do.
furniture, well, I guess furniture purchases probably are under supplies or something.
Correct, yeah.
Then the other thing, and just on the restricted grants, are we, how long are the, or what are the risks there in terms of the length of time and our ability to earn all those revenues, perform all the requirements? Are there any programs that are at risk?
No, we've got no shortage of so great ideas and programs that can support students. So, you know, and the Ed Services Department has done a great job in mapping out the spending of that funding specifically related to the COVID relief and learning recovery. So you'll get an update of that in the next couple of meetings around that spending. But I have I have more concerns about winding those programs down than I do with us actually being able to spend those funds.
So, and the last question is
Mhm.
where are we with the tracker for the property tax assessment, the AV tracker?
This morning we were at, for 23-24, we were at 3.44% on a county average of 3.43%. So we're tracking almost identical to the county right now.
Do you happen to know where we were last year at this time?
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
I do have that, but I don't have it in front of
He's
me.
a numbers guy. He-
720.
Yeah, no, and
That's a
I'm
tough
thinking
question.
that we were significantly higher
At,
last
at
year.
this point in last
Oh,
year,
no, no.
or?
Yeah, no, I mean, trying to compare apples and apples in terms.
Yeah,
of-
I don't have that.
Gro-
We were a little south of 7.5%, but that was at the end of the year. And
Right.
obviously we've got a long way to go before that.
Well,
And
yeah,
we-
but prices are, I noticed, because I follow prices, or real estate sales are actually dropping.
Yep.
And slowing down, so,
Interest rates have gotten too high.
Interest rates are up.
and I think there's another interest rate hike.
Yeah.
Yep.
in-
So,
in-
so we're
in-
monitoring that. We're really monitoring the commercial. And if, that's probably our biggest risk in terms of any kind of lowering of values would be on the commercial side. On the residential side, because it's based on assessed value and not actual value, really it's turnover for us more than overall price. Obviously, if we have significant declines, that could impact us. But really, we're looking at number of sales even more than those actual sales, because there is so much kind of untapped value in those houses that have been owned for 5, 10, 15, 40 years. So,
Thank you.
Trustee Land.
So thank you for the report. Thank you all, and Vanessa and both of you. Thank you so much for all the work that you put in. I'm just going to make a couple observations, and I am actually I seldom disagree with Mr. Griffin, but I really want to applaud you for not taking away the budgets for carryover. I think sweeping budgets like that could be dangerous for sites. So acknowledging that the sites need to have it and need to have a plan, and they can use the money the way they need to. I think as a principal, I just want to support that and say thank you. Sorry.
Go for it, site principal.
There you go. I did notice we have a healthy basic aid contingency. I know that you've talked about in the past that our ESSER and our one-time funds, and thank you for breaking down both the state funds and the federal funds. I think for the future, again, talking like we did with the art, I'd like to hear from Ed Services kind of where we're going with this, the one-time monies, just so we can figure out what we're doing with the one-time monies. I know we were talking about directions into worrying about student achievement and learning loss, and really need to concentrate on what programs we're going to implement. And I'd like to see that from Ed Services at a future agenda item, but it's good to note, let's be careful with the budget. I'm glad we have a healthy, but it's also connected with the one-time monies. And I think that's important to mention. Last thing I wanted to mention. I think that's it. I think, thank you again for really the comprehensive report.
Trustee Dwyer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all three of you. I really appreciate the details, but I also really appreciate how succinctly you're able to provide all the material to us. I think it makes a big difference in reviewing it. Am I correct that program carryover is included in the ending balance? All of the
Correct.
program carryover? Okay.
correct.
And then the one-time COVID relief funding is not included in the ending balance?
So the federal funds that are unspent are not included in that ending fund balance because technically from a accounting standpoint, they're considered those revenues are not earned
Right.
until we've spent the money.
And how about the state?
The state, those would be included primarily as ending fund balance. There are occasionally state programs that are work the same way, but the largest balances are all included in that ending fund balance on the restricted side.
So some of these, am I correct that some of the state COVID relief funding balances were also, some of this money was part of last year's carryover? Because we already
Correct.
had it.
Yes,
And we
correct.
didn't expend it. So we're just carrying that fund, those funds over again.
Correct.
Yeah, because I think that when you look at the reserve and you look at the bottom line on the ending balance, when you take all of that in consideration, we're not, if you look at year to year, we're really not so much higher than we were in 17, 18. It's that we have these one-time funds that are continuing to be moved and that were recently extended, right? Because I
Correct.
read that in the paper that they recently extended them.
Yeah, they extended some of the timelines for spending of those funds.
is good.
Oh, yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, it's good for us. Okay, and am I also correct that foundation money raised at the sites is not included in this?
The foundation, the unspent foundation money would be included in a restricted ending fund balance.
Okay,
But any commitments that have not been received have not
Okay.
been included as revenue.
that's what, that's what.
We
I thought.
recognize them as received. I think
Okay.
that's what you meant.
Yeah, because that money is always there too. And they're, it's good. I think the fact that we've received COVID money to offset costs that maybe foundations would have supported, but they are still, all the schools are continuing to raise money for the future. Because when the COVID money is expended and gone, there will be ongoing needs. And so the fact that they've got plans for that is good.
And just to be clear, the ending fund balance in those foundations are not included in our.
Right.
as
Yeah, I
think-
saw they weren't.
Exactly.
So, okay. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'll take a cartoon next time at the beginning and then one in the end too.
Especially if it's Star Trek.
But I don't really like Star Trek, so maybe we can come up with a Dilbert.
You see
How
why
about
I took out the
Dilbert?
cartoons in the first place.
No offense, but it's so oh, I shouldn't say this. I was gonna say it's kind of simplistic, Star Trek. I don't know. Yeah, Dilbert.
Dilbert, got it.
Yeah, or Pearls Before Swine, or some- No. Okay, thank you.
So I've lost sight of trustee Zuniga. So trustee Zuniga, if you have questions, speak up because I've lost visual contact.
That's okay. You can hear me in the sound here. No, my concerns were just that of the one-time money. And
I'm having trouble hearing you again.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. It's not me.
You have to
because
shout into your mic.
Are you sure it's not the Zoom there? Because I increased the volume on mine. Yeah, my only concerns were the one-time COVID money, so that was answered. So I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
My questions, I think have already been answered, so I think we do need a motion to
Correct.
to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from trustee Dwyer, a second from trustee Land.
It wasn't recorded. I move approval. I'm recording.
Okay. Trustee Griffin,
Aye.
trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Aye.
trustee Dwyer,
Aye.
and I vote yes also. So the actuals are unaudited actuals are approved 5-0.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you for your work.
Look at
I
the smiles.
realize
Look at the
that is
smile on Valerie's
the,
face.
substantial amount of work and much
Yes.
appreciated.
Thank you so much, everyone.
So moving to Division of Human Resources, we had no construction items tonight. Approval of personnel actions.
Yes, we have personnel actions and addendum for approval.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Dwyer, second by trustee Land, trustee Griffin,
Aye.
trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Aye.
trustee Dwyer,
Aye.
and I vote aye also.
I do want to say I appreciate all the clears on all of the coaches and all the people who work with students.
Yes.
I think and the ones, and there's a few that aren't clear, but at least they've taken all of the really important classes. And, they passed the background screening, which is quite important. So I'm really happy to see that. So thank you for that work.
Absolutely.
Okay, item 2, revised 22-23 American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 829.
Yes, this is the salary schedule with the removal of the capital facilities and fiscal manager position and purchasing manager position. And then the addition of the capital facilities and fiscal manager at level 6 and purchasing manager at level 7.
Okay. Are there any questions on this?
Do we need a motion?
We need a motion.
I
to
move
approve.
approval.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Dwyer, second by trustee Land, trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Zuniga,
Yes.
trustee Land,
Yes.
trustee Dwyer.
Yes.
And I vote yes also. So that is approved 5-0. Approve the compromise settlement agreement as contained in the attachment.
Yes, this is a compromise and settlement agreement that amicably settles the situation regarding the yearbook advisor stipend at Peninsula High School. The advisor, the Teachers Association, and our previous superintendent worked out all the details of the compromise, and in it outlines the plans for this school year and also the plans moving forward into the future.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, same team. Motion by trustee Dwyer, second by trustee Land, trustee Griffin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Yes.
trustee Dwyer.
Yes.
I vote yes also. So that's approved 5-0. Agreement with San Mateo Union High School District and DG Coaching and Consulting.
The district contracted with the DEI firm, DG Coaching and Consulting last year. DG assisted the district with conducting focus groups and revising our recruitment practices and interviewing processes. The work resulted in substantial improvements and good results. We'd like to continue to work with DG around DEI goals and expectations. This year specifically, we would include a diversity audit driven by employee and student input and hopefully resulting in data-driven assessment that can lead to maximizing DEI opportunities and identifying areas of growth. The agreement is up to 50 hours, $350 an hour, or about $18,000.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, trustee Dwyer motion and a second by trustee Land. Trustee Griffin,
Aye.
trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Aye, and I just want to say I'm glad we're doing this for diversity and equity purposes. So thanks for keeping this up.
trustee Dwyer,
Aye.
and I vote yes also. So that's approved 5-0. Approve the job description for capital facilities and fiscal manager.
Last school year, the district abolished the capital facilities fiscal and purchasing manager
Yes.
position with the intention of splitting it into 2 jobs. Last April, the board approved the purchasing manager job description and filled that position. And so the approval of the capital facilities and fiscal manager job description tonight will complete the process.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Dwyer, second by trustee Land, trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Yes.
trustee Dwyer.
Yes.
And I vote yes also. Item 6, approve the revised 21-22 and 22-23 CSEA salary schedules as contained in the attachments.
I move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
We read them all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's great.
good work.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Okay, motion by trustee Dwyer, second by trustee Land. Trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Zuniga,
Yeah, aye.
trustee Land,
Yes.
trustee Dwyer,
Yes.
and I vote yes also. So we move item 9 up before item 7. This is just the presentation of the California School Employees Association, Chapter 519, 22-23 successor contract proposal. Does not require a vote, just for information, correct?
Yes, it contains 10 articles that the CSEA has interests in. There's not too much detail in this proposal, but the field rep did say they were going to be giving the district more detailed proposal by October, by the end of the month.
Okay. Okay. Number 7 is the public hearing and public comment regarding the California School Employees Association 519 and the San Mateo Union High School District successor contract.
22 to 25. You have to open the public hearing.
I do. Let me open the public hearing. Do we have anyone who wishes to make public comment on these two items? Okay, going and gone. So let me close the public hearing. Okay, and then item 8 is to approve the district's California School Employees Contract Association successor contract proposal.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay,
Like, yeah.
okay.
Trustee
we
Griffin
have-
and I have to be faster, huh?
Come on, Griffin.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Dwyer, a second by trustee Zuniga. Trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Yes.
trustee Dwyer.
Yes.
And I vote yes also. So moving to 10, CTE Career Coordinator District Facilitator.
Job description. This is a newly created job description for the facilitation and coordination role for the CTE, career coordinators. We had a halftime position for this very role in the past, and we decided not to continue it, but we do have a need for the functions, and we think that can be accomplished through the stipend position. The stipend will be funded by the CTE incentive grant, and it would be $5,000 a year. And in the job description, there was a mistake under the classification where it says certificated, it should be classified.
I see the correction.
So if we could recommend approval for that with that
With amended.
adjustment or
I
amendment.
make
move
a
approval as amended.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion to approve as amended by trustee Dwyer, second by trustee Land, trustee Griffin,
Aye.
trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Aye.
trustee Dwyer,
Aye.
and I vote aye also. So that's approved 5-0. Last item is item 11, instructional material selection facilitator.
Yes, the district is excited that we received a $5.5 million block grant for instructional materials. Therefore, we would like to approval for a coordinator for instructional materials selection. This role will be for a teacher leader to lead the process of the instructional material selection going forward. It would be a stipend position for $2,300 per year.
I move approval.
I second, but I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
So can you describe what the role will be of this teacher? I mean, what kind of purchases are they talking about for the instructional materials? Is it supplementary? Is it textbook adoption? Kind of give me an understanding what the 5.5 million is going to do for us.
This role in particular will be used to help with the coordination of teachers to pilot textbooks. We're currently looking at US histories coming up. So this teacher will help us just work with the teachers to pilot the books and then eventually adopt. There's a few other ones that are on the docket as
So
well.
it is for the textbook adoption
Yes,
series.
This particular role is, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. I'll still keep my second then.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so we have a motion by trustee Dwyer, second by trustee Land, trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Zuniga,
Aye.
trustee Land,
Aye.
trustee Dwyer,
Aye.
and I vote yes also. So that's approved 5-0. We have no items in instructional services or student services or business services this evening. So board operations, we have 2 items around policies just to review and discuss this evening. The first one is about independent study. To me, it looked like almost all statutory changes that we had almost nothing to,
So my question,
nothing to say about.
Well, so my
as
question
near as
is-
I could tell.
are they making any major changes, or is this just kind of affirming what we've already done? Because it's like, is there a maximum, is it like the 10-day maximum, or what are they altering here?
It's specific to students with IEPs
Okay.
to have a tiered engagement approach for students with IEPs. So
Got
there's new language there that we've adopted that is based on,
Okay, got it.
statute.
It looked like they basically wrote the policy into the law, right? Or yeah,
They'll take the laws verbiage
yeah. Okay. So we will just bring those back on consent next meeting. Okay, the second was a series of policies brought forward from
Oh no, I think everyone is frozen.
Okay, because I see you
Me
and
too.
hear you, but I can't hear them.
I think they're frozen. If you can hear me, y'all, you're frozen.
Yeah, I don't even see them on the screen anymore.
Let me text Shar.
It turned off and it says
All are
the
frozen.
SMUHSD is the host now.
Yeah, I texted Charlene.